right. Nice intro music. Nice intro to Friday. Yeah, here we are. Welcome to Live Feed Reads, the podcast, the lawyer podcast of Reed and Reed. And today we've got Ryan Reed with us. What's up, Ryan?
How's it going, Jason?
Good, man. What about you?
Just plugging along, ready to get out of here for the weekend. It's a beautiful day. I got a little golf tournament Saturday and Sunday with the boys at Carrollwood Country Club, 2-day Ryder Cup style. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we don't get, it's sunny all week. Hopefully we don't get rain tomorrow and Sunday.
Yeah, you're sporting a new hairdo. I love it, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Got a little trim. Well, I hate getting it cut.
You got that old Kevin Costner vibe thing going now. Yeah, look at that.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Of course.
He's a handsome
not
man.
Kevin Costner now. Kevin Costner back in the day.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
For sure. All right. Well, what do you got? What do you have on the agenda for us today? Wow.
I was going to talk about a few events coming up in the community, highlight a couple of the past events, successes. There's an interesting case we can potentially talk about. But I guess let's start with the good news of the prior events. So as you know, and maybe some people out there don't know, I'm part of the Rotary Club of Brandon. And we just had our annual golf tournament at Buckhorn in January, followed by our wild game dinner in February, which we talked about.
Nice.
And between those two events, we netted about $200,000 that we're then going to be able to distribute to several of the local charities in the area, like Echo of Brandon, Hope for Her, High Five, Boy Scouts of America, a couple others. There's some scholarships we give out to individual students who excel. But yeah, I mean, for our little 60, 70 person organization, 2 events to be able to generate that income and put it right out into the community is just amazing. It takes a lot to get that stuff done. People show up and have a good time, but it's an effort. These things don't just happen. And I'm finding out how much it actually takes when you show up, just get your golf balls or, show up and get your dinner at the wild games. Like, no, there's a months
a lot more
planning and logistics and hands on deck. It's a lot, but it benefits the community. I'm glad to have been a part of it.
Yeah, it's such good work. And, not to get political, but I think that communities doing that is so much more effective than like abdicating those responsibilities to big daddy government and things like that.
Yep. Private sector always does it better.
Yeah, you're able to meet the people, know the faces, help their lives propel forward.
Yep.
It's just so much. It's so impactful and it's fulfilling on both ends when you do it that way. I think that's one of the other things that gets kind of taken out of the mix is when that's tossed off onto some big system. We don't really get to feel the benefit of that being done.
The other way.
Yeah. So anyway, that's cool. I'm glad you guys had such successful events, though. That's really awesome.
And then there's another event that we this is our second or third time sponsoring it. One of my sister, Paul's daughter, Leanne, friends from high school, Lex Capitano and Kevin Sierra. They just kind of started this what started 4 years ago as sort of a barbecue, turned into a charity event. And then each year it's getting bigger. It's called National Meat Day. So now it's a full-on barbecue competition. I want to say they had about 500 attendees 2 weekends ago. And, this is only the 4th event they've thrown. Lex and Kevin, they're about 24 years old, 25 years old. They're young guys. And they raised $120,000 to help St. Joseph's, the St. Joseph School, I believe. I hope that's the right school I'm talking about. But anyways, they do a great job. That's a great event too. It's getting bigger every year. So we'll try to get out, next year and promote that again. Cause I know a lot of people out in Brandon, they like their barbecue too. And I think Brandon was only represented out there by us and Sebastian Lozano and the Lozano family. He just whips up such good food. And, so we'd like to see some more Brandonites out there holding it down, showing those South Tampa folk how it's done.
Yeah, dude. Well, you guys have that. What's that family who does the barbecue at y'all's 4th of July thing?
Oh, that was we haven't seen them since before COVID. What were they called? They used to own that barbecue shop over there next to Popeyes. I can't
Yeah,
remember the name of it at the
I
top.
can't
It used
either.
to be there forever, and then
It was good
they do a
food
lot of
though.
catering. Good.
Yeah,
I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, they were great too.
yeah, they're great,
I'd be eating
man.
that barbecue after the 4th of July for like 2 weeks because we would always have a lot of leftovers, and
Yeah, yeah, it was good though.
it's like
It's a
Thanksgiving in July.
worth it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And then
All
we got a
right,
couple events coming up we wanted to tell everyone in the community about. The
cool.
first one, April 17th, that is by Brandon Rotary Club. I mean, you'll be
Okay,
able to read it,
Bolts and
but
Brews.
ultimately it's Bolts and Brews. The Brandon Rotary Club, we are one of the only Rotary clubs in the country, maybe even the world, that one of the few, anyways, I'll say, that owns our own building outright. And so we're inviting as many people to that to kind of meet us, socialize with the members, see what the Rotary is all about. We're gonna be, watching the Lightning game. We're gonna have food there, brews, needless to say, hopefully sponsored by Jamie, one of our members, with it's a Bullfrog Brewing over
Yeah,
there. They're
okay.
up Lithia, but hopefully he can drop us a keg or two.
Yeah, they're
Um,
good people. They got good
yes.
stuff too.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
going to be April 17th. I believe it's a Thursday. Event starts at 6, game at 7. So if you're looking for something to do local, right there on Kings, just what's the name of that school? I think there's anyways, just north of Bloomingdale, Rotary Club of Brandon. Can't miss it off Kings, right across from that elementary school, I think it is.
Hmm.
That's going to be a good one. So I'll be there. Come say hi.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, and then Echo, I'm on the board of directors of Echo, so
Yeah.
I always gotta try to raise money
Plug
for
them.
them.
Do
We're
it.
doing the first annual Echo at the Derby, so it's a Kentucky Derby themed event. Where the women can wear all the fancy church hats, and
Yeah, yeah.
guys can wear bow ties or whatever the hell guys wear when they go to that thing. I'll be dressing normally, but that's gonna be a good event. Gonna be catered,
Are
food,
you gonna be
drinks,
dressed like redneck normal or
you know,
like?
inside outside cornhole, and that's gonna be at the barn. Isn't that the barn at Winthrop? Right? Yep, the barn at Winthrop, over there off Bloomingdale. And so yeah, we're looking for sponsors. We're looking for just general
All
ticket
right.
sales. We want to get like 500 people there to make this a good event, because if it's good enough, we can do it every year. And again, proceeds go directly to Echo Brandon, which, if you don't know, go to their website. They do great work, and I know we've talked about that
Yeah.
before. But 2 events, April 17th, and that one is on
Yeah.
May 3rd, Kentucky Derby. Reed and Reeds will be there, and we hope to see you guys there as well.
Yeah, and you said Echo was working on something up here in the legislature over the last week or two.
Yes, yeah, and this is kind of my first experience being on a board of directors, so I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants, learning as I'm going. But
Yeah.
this is also, after 30 years, I think Echoes as an organization, nonprofit's first time kind of getting with a lobbying organization, talking to and trying to build relationships with the representatives up in Tallahassee, and we're looking for an appropriation to try to get out of, if we can. I don't think this is a secret, but we're trying to get into a larger
Oh, yeah.
location. We'll say a larger location so that we can serve more of our community.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are limited by the physical space of the current location, the one in Brandon, anyways. And there's an opportunity for us to make a large leap, a very large leap, if this appropriation goes through. And fingers crossed. If it doesn't go through this year, hopefully next year. But we're hopeful that if it
Yeah,
all goes
cool.
well, we'll be able to make the move by the end of the year.
They've got a lot going on in appropriations this year, man. Like it
Yep.
is a massive shuffle. That's gonna be interesting to keep me updated. Let me know where that falls.
Yeah,
I'm
one of
curious.
these times I got to get up there. I've never been to a session. I know the
I'll
Florida
walk you
Justice,
around. I'll show
the
you the
Florida Justice
places.
Association. They
Yeah.
always ask me to come up, and yeah, I really want to go next year. And then same thing with Echo Eleanor. I could go with our CEO and see what it's all about.
There's this really cool place up here. I haven't been able to stop there, but maybe we could have a drink. It's called the Florida Bar.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm getting on to.
Oh, I thought it was a pretty funny. Yeah.
No,
I'm
the
thinking
Florida
like
Bar
a
is up
devil's
here. I
advocate.
just.
That a little, because in that movie with Keanu Reeves, he starts off in Gainesville. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, I haven't seen that in so long.
doing his little Southern accent as best he can.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, yeah, no, come on up. I'll show you the ropes. I'll show you where everything's at.
Yeah,
It's,
awesome. And I know you've been running into Mike Owen every now and then up there.
I did, yeah. We were presenting our bill this past week. and we finally got it heard, and it started to move for the home education families. And Michael Owen was in the committee meeting that heard it first.
Oh,
So
cool.
he's sitting in on the student academic success subcommittee. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
where
sure.
we
I mean,
started.
you're up there a lot. You're in the thick of it. I mean, I'm sure
Oh
it's
yeah,
just such an
yeah.
eye-opening experience that most Americans just really never get to take part in or know
Oh
much
yeah,
about. And me, as much as I'm a history buff, an American history buff, and a lawyer and study the
yeah.
Constitution, even I haven't been up there and seen what it's
It
all about.
it's interesting. I've learned a lot just over the past year in terms of like how things truly work and understanding how important it is to have someone that represents you and actually be involved with them because they're up here making decisions and they're negotiating on things and trading ideas back and forth. And it's not that they'll forget their constituents, that's not what I mean, but it's very easy for them to get overwhelmed with a massive amount of information that they have to take in, be introduced to, process, and make decisions on and vote. And so keeping in touch with them and letting them know what matters to you is
It's
super, super important.
basically like
Yeah.
everyone, small business owners and salespeople, et cetera, know the importance of networking for
Yeah.
business, but it's, you kind of forget that, well, you should be networking, so to speak, with
Yeah.
your representatives because it's all
Yeah.
top of mind awareness. And
Yeah.
when it comes time for them to pull the trigger, if you're not up there, they're going to forget
Yeah.
about you.
And if you're watching a committee meeting on TV and they're voting and then you get upset, it's too late.
Yeah.
That happened already. Like,
Hmm.
so sometimes by the time you become aware of something, um, your voice isn't necessarily is easily represented. So like kind of I think just encourage the average citizen just pay attention to what's going on. All the bills are filed publicly. Everything that's written down is written. You don't know the conversations that they're having until they have the committee meetings and then they speak up in them. But it's public knowledge. You can follow all of that, and become a bit of a nerd about it because it ultimately is like why I'm up here and what we're doing. But and things happen fast, like
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
ideas get shifted quick.
Well, yeah, a good example. I was just following, I think it's Senator Garcia's bill to ban or eliminate, rather, weather modification and geoengineering in Florida. And
Mm,
DeSantis even came out in support of that because the House bill is flip-flopping, basically doing the opposite, trying to
yeah.
make it legal as long as you have a license. But it's funny to me that people, and I would say probably a majority of people either don't know about it, don't think it's real, and yet you have a state Senate passing a bill. You have the state House of Representatives gutting
Mm,
that bill to have the opposite effect. A governor of a state talking about it in
mm,
support of one over the other, and people still don't think it's happening, or
mm-hmm.
don't. I mean, what could be more one of the most important things other than there are people and organizations out there doing things without your knowledge or consent
Oh yeah.
about
Oh yeah.
affecting one of the most, you know,
Yep.
important things as your weather, and you don't, not
Yeah.
only do you not know about it or you don't believe it exists, you're not a part, you don't want a voice in that. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
And it's also become keenly aware to me that like people that I view as intelligent
Mhm.
when they're out of their given area of knowledge,
Mhm.
it's become very aware to me like how people that I think are intelligent can make really dumb decisions
Mhm.
just because they just don't have all the information, but they're trusting people who act like they do, and
Mhm.
they're feeding them information. Going, oh no, this is no, we're just trying to do this, or here's what's important.
Yep.
And man, having people close to you that you can trust, that are good, they're keen, they're researchers, they got accurate information
Like
for our.
like Littlefinger and Varys.
It's so important. It's so important, man.
Yep.
Oh, because we're dealing with stuff in education that's similar to that. There are big things happening that people don't yet know about
Mhm.
and might not catch on to until 2 years from now when it's a problem they're trying to deal
Yeah,
with.
when
And
it's been implemented for some time and now it's affecting
yeah,
you down the, little ladder,
yes,
and all of a
yeah.
sudden, well, what can I do about it? Well, nothing
It's
now.
harder to fix problems than
Well,
it is
once
to
something is
stop them from
set
happening.
down, it's much
Hmm.
harder to reverse than stopping it before it's set down.
100%. 100% agree.
Especially that's why I can't stand when they throw things on the constitutional ballot. It's like once that's there, it's never coming off.
Yeah.
Which is why
Yeah,
it should
yeah.
be a law. That way it can be changed and amended much more
Yes.
quickly as new information comes to light versus
That's
these
right.
constitutional amendments that someone pays to throw on to give a 50-50 shot as to whether they're going to get it passed versus argument, debate, information. It's crazy.
So important. So important. Get involved with your local nonprofits that are trying to serve the community, because those are critical and they're key. And be informed, when it comes to. I didn't even know before I started doing all of this that you could look some of this stuff up. I had no idea. So I went up here cold turkey and just dove right in, and the amount of information I have to pay for a software. It's about $1,000 a year now to help me keep up with it, because all the amount of information that I have that comes at me is so much, and I have to be able to tag things and filter them and follow them as they go through the process. There's like 80 education bills right now. It's crazy.
It's nuts.
Much
I mean,
less
I think
all the
that's
other
part
stuff.
of it too, is just like flood the system so that it muddies the water, and then they hopefully get
squeeze something through.
Squeeze their thing through.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm here for it, baby. I'm a fighter. I love it. A rebel with a cause.
Very
nice.
This
is the fight I needed. No, I'm kidding.
Yep, perfect. Well, good to talk with you. I'm gonna get back to it, but I think that was a good one.
All right, fair enough. Sounds good. I'll take us out. Anything you want to wish people well over the weekend, or any special plans?
No, get out there and see a Rays game now that they're across the bay in our backyard. Let's show the Rays that Tampa actually has a fan base here for them. So let's fill that stadium.
All right, sounds good. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.